Okay.
Okay.
Y'all want to play another song or come back?
I remember this. Oh, Lord.
Oh, did you want to do your, Ellie, did you want to do your bathroom one? Okay, let's do that next. And then we'll jump into the relationship stuff.
No, I just wanted to use a little snippet of North Carolina and then talk about transgender because I honestly don't understand it being a lesbian. But that doesn't mean that I don't have to understand it, but I have to discuss.
So you ready to go back?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a song that I just want to play the first part of it that you didn't include in your list that you probably didn't know that Prince wrote.
I probably did. I probably just didn't check it out.
Another 7 Kevin song.
Oh, yeah.
Bam!
You could play something. Are we live right now?
You remember the song?
Yeah. Are we playing another song?
No, just the first part. Yeah, I can jump in.
Okay.
It was a reason why I brought this song up.
Why?
Because he wrote this. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear the sound.
Yeah, I like it.
Welcome back. Prince song. Like Prince.
I'm gonna jump into why I added this in. This wasn't on your list, but the reason why I added this in was doing it for Prince. This is something that a lot of people didn't know. So as writers, a lot of times artists, when writers write for other artists, you can hear them. So all the songs that you've been playing, you've been able to hear Prince in those songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His style, even it sounds like him. And some of the songs he did sing back.
His motif.
Yeah.
That's what they call motif. Yeah.
And some of them he did sing background. This is one of the particular songs that Prince wrote that Prince himself said, you know what? After I wrote this song and gave it to Tevin Campbell, I wish I would have kept it. So it was like, and Babyface has done that too. He said there were some songs that he wrote that afterwards he looked back and said, man, TLC, one of the songs by TLC, he said he wished he would have kept it. I have to look it up. I can't remember. I want to say the wrong one, but this was the one song, and it was amazing just to see. It's amazing to see an artist. So you see Prince when in that interview, he said, every time I saw Tevin or heard Tevin perform the song, for once in my life, I got jealous of somebody. Because
I like that. Prince is like so cool. He is such a fool too. So anyway, y'all, we played The Time, Jungle Love, and Stand Back by Stevie Nicks. So again, we are keeping with the trend of songs written by Prince, performed by other artists tonight on BAM. What are we talking about right now before we get into relationship? You know, we got a really couple cool relationship topics, so y'all hang tight. Please hang tight because we got some good conversation that we're about to have. But Illy, you brought up something that you saw happen. Was it North Carolina, South Carolina law or something?
Oh yeah, okay. So there was a law that was passed in North Carolina. I want to say a couple weeks ago. And it basically says that you can discriminate against gays or LGBT, and that transgender individuals are not allowed to go to the bathroom of what they have assigned themselves as far as their gender. Mm-hmm. So if a girl has switched to a boy, mm-hmm. or a woman to a man, he cannot go into the male's restroom. He has to go to the woman's.
But does he have male parts now?
Yeah, they're like transgender or transitioning. Exactly.
So I have this video that I saved about what the process to actually go from the male to the female. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that reconstruction is, and it was just like a visual, like what do you call that? Animation kind of thing. Oh, like don't cut it. Took them out, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So. I could understand that. I would agree with that 100% if you have not had the surgery and you walk in a woman's bathroom and you whip it out. But I got a problem with that because
you don't have to whip it out. The bathroom is a private place anyway. But the point that they're trying to make, okay, so the people that are against or for this bill or for this law, obviously there were a lot in North Carolina. have this notion that somehow transgender is equated to pedophiles and people that are up to no good going into the bathrooms. And so, granted, I'm sure there are instances when that happens, but most of the time,
non-transgender.
thank you. That's the whole point. The whole point I'm trying to make is, if their argument is not good because they're saying that,
you gotta like pass the test before you go
transgender, transgender, they're sick and it's not safe for our children and all this other stuff.
Just the fear of
the fear of not knowing and not understanding. Okay, there are plenty of transgender people that are upstanding citizens who, you know, have gone through the surgery or have gone through the process, and they go to their assigned, you know, whatever they assign themselves to that bathroom. But they're basically saying, no, you can't do that.
But how would you know? I mean, is there somebody standing? I mean, how would you know if I've had the surgery and it's like good? How would you know? Like, what am I gonna do? Tell you?
I know. I mean, there was this meme.
Hey, guess what?
There was this meme on Facebook that I saw that shows this girl looking underneath the stall and going, "Oh, do you have a vagina or a penis? Because otherwise you can't be here making me uncomfortable."
Right? Because I'm all up under your stall like a little kid. Because you know babies do that all the time. You're like, ah! Stop looking. Or when you're
are we gonna kick her out of the bathroom?
Or you continue? But this is one thing I would say about bathrooms. I think they should make everything a stall with a door. So I think they need to get rid of urinals just in general.
Thank you.
Because
it should be private anyway.
Everything,
They do that in Europe. It's much more private. The doors have doors and they go to the floor. Here it's just like
it's just
barely.
It's like a tube
crack.
It's like a tube. It's like a tube top. You're like, hello,
and you look up, you see it.
You turn on the faucet for me, please.
It's like being in a cubicle at work. Hey.
Hey, I'm just here typing away and annoying Hilly.
So yeah, so things like that. So
it just
this is local law or something that they're
This is North Carolina, the state.
Okay, right, but I mean, it's something just for that state that they're trying to pass.
Yeah, I think they did pass it.
So
I think they did pass it.
This is the kind of stuff that's getting passed in law that they spending our taxpayer dollars on. Where we got people that are hungry. Flint, Michigan still don't have no water. I mean, all these places are flooded out, and we walk around here
clean water.
And we walk around here passing laws that
about
I don't even understand.
Issues.
But I don't even understand how you would regulate it though. How do you regulate that?
Would you have a cop or something in the each stall?
I mean,
I gotta check you before you come in. Yeah, I know.
I mean, but how do you know?
How do you know?
So that's my whole thing is to me, it's wasted legislation. It's wasted tax dollars. It's wasted time on something that, and I understand people have fears and phobias and things like that. And weird things happen all the time, and it could be from anybody. You know, I understand. My thing is if you're worried about your child, don't let them go to the bathroom by themselves.
Exactly.
I mean, I think my son.
And don't leave them with a stepfather. No, I'm kidding.
That was
just kidding.
Direct all of your comments to.
Just be vigilant of your kids if you're afraid of that.
Absolutely.
Just be vigilant of your kids.
Right. You can't.
And then more than likely, if something happens like that, it's gonna be anyway.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
Because that's what's probably where that backlash is coming from. It's from parents saying, well, I want my kid to go in the bathroom, but I don't want them to see something that they shouldn't see. Well, someone should be accompanying them. Even when my son got old enough, he was like 7-ish or something like that, to go by, I wasn't going with him, but if I didn't have a male with me, he'd have to go to the restroom by himself. And there were times I'd walk in, I'm like, he's been in there way too, I'd send somebody like, hey, is there a little boy in there? And because I don't play that. I'm like, that's back in the day.
Yeah, that's how kids get abducted or kids get,
Yeah, that was back in the day when gold teeth would really pop out quickly. People don't understand what the gold tooth is. Basically, I'll tell you. So, click in your, anyway. So, hey, today's relationship topic. Let's talk about the first one. The first one, thieves. You brought this up a couple weeks ago or so. Are we meant, and let me just make sure I clarify what your thinking was, because I got a couple different responses to this question, and it was, are we meant to be with only one mate? And I'm thinking you mean at any particular time.
Yeah, like, you know, like we grow up and we're like, okay, well, when we grow up, we're gonna get married and we're gonna live happily ever after, and
That means until after the baby is born through college.
or after the sex dies. No, I'm kidding. But you know, are we meant? Is it supposed to be a forever thing? Are we supposed to have just one big relationship? Because you know, you look at the olden days, you have a lot of, you know, grandparents and great grandparents who they were like, oh, we were high school sweethearts and we lived 57 years together. And it reminds me of one time when my dad said, he's like, you know why there's so many divorces? People are living longer. So you're like, dang, I don't want to be with you forever.
Like, Dad, I thought
Because people used to die at 35 or 40.
Right, I could have sworn you was gonna get hemorrhagic fever or whatever they call it. I'm
Hay
sorry, I just
fever.
made that hay fever. That's the short
I think
version of
so.
it. Yeah, that's not
Or malaria.
whatever.
Yellow fever.
Well, you know the mumps is out now. So anyway, that's a whole other thing.
But yeah, are we meant to? And for me, obviously no. You know, I've been in more than one relationship.
But have you been married?
No. I don't know. Marriage is
Different.
it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. I mean, I understand the sentimental aspect. You know, you want to share, you want to witness, you want people to witness your life with your loved one and celebrate and all that stuff. And that's wonderful for people if they can, you know, make it happen. But I really, I really think that, I don't know. I think the way we're headed, I don't know.
But it's just taking out everything else that's around us. When you say, are we meant to be with one and only one person, and you say, you know, no, you don't think so. There's not this long. There are some, very few people who have been, when they met, they've been married forever. But there are a lot of people who have been together for years and years and years, and during that time. So my parents come from that era where we don't get divorced, period.
Right.
It don't matter what happened, you know, we don't get I mean, and there is some, but you know, a lot of people used to believe in that, you know, once we're together, you know, that's Christian belief, Catholicism, all of that, you know, where once there's no such thing as divorce, at least that's what, you know, kind of how it's written in the Bible. I don't know the exact scripture, so I don't quote the Bible, but, so I think we get caught in that too. And that's why sometimes we make poor decisions because we're trying to, because I remember my mom used to always preach to me, you need to find someone and marry them. What for? I mean, because of my religion, you know, when I was, you know, you got to find this man, go to church. I was like, that's exactly not where I'm gonna find. Yeah, exactly. Now I'm gonna go to the grocery store because anyway, that's
and he's gonna be in the produce aisle because he's healthy.
Yes, yeah, because you know you want to see if
you have
peels
things in
the
common
melons properly.
Yeah, feels the melons. She said it.
I'm just saying because anyway. So my thought about I'm just being. See, you took it to another level. I'm talking about like they got like a whole bunch of different kind of.
Don't you have to knock it?
Well, you can actually, some of them, if you feel them, you want to know if you don't want them to be mushy, you know. So, you're laughing, I'm serious.
You want them to be mushy. You don't want no fake nothing.
You don't want, but you.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just offended like half of the people. Okay, sorry.
Come back.
Okay,
please.
so anyway.
So in terms of having one mate, you're saying for a lifetime or one mate each time that in any given time. So if I'm dating,
Lifetime.
A lifetime.
Okay. So not polygamy.
Like I think like if we looked at each other like biological creatures. Animals.
Well, they don't.
Animals.
What we do. They mate. And
I know. And penguins.
But some
ones are lifers. They stay together. Penguins.
No, I said Casey said some of these animals stay together. Like how you know that ant was with that other ant last season? I'm like, how you know that?
If I don't know.
Okay, he's talking about like lions and lionesses.
No, yeah, them and then
No,
dolphins.
because the male lions be fighting for the female lion, and you don't know who got in there the last time and who she got in this time because she picks. She doesn't always
She's
win.
fierce.
The male, the head honcho, doesn't always win. He's supposed to, but he doesn't always. She doesn't always select him.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is that if we look at it biologically, are we meant to be with one person forever and ever and ever and ever? Is that a fantasy or a reality? Well, you know, if you look at the divorce rate, then obviously the answer is no, we're not supposed to be with one person forever. But I really think that as we continue on this road and, you know, social things, emotional things, I think that some people are really good at relationships and some people aren't. I think a relationship or being in a relationship and making it work is a skill. And some people do not have it.
Yeah, there are
Some
people
people just don't.
who have been married 4, 5, 6, 7 times, things like that, and people turn their head against that. And I say, but what's the difference in being in 12 relationships in a year?
Right.
I mean, what's the
Right.
difference?
What's the difference?
Except they spent money and now they got to spend more money.
Yeah.
That's my first
Yeah.
thing is, it costs a lot of money. You need to be certain
It's cheaper
to keep her and him. Because sometimes he
And
comes
him.
with that, I need a prenup. Anyway, yeah, so I agree too. I think it depends on what you're looking for in life. I think because we change throughout life every 3 to 5 years or whatever it is, because I know I'm not the same today as I was when I moved here 4 years ago.
Exactly.
I'm still, my goals may still be similar because my thought process or whatever, I still have, you know, got these dreams that I've always had, but how I approach things or just that alone, how I approach things, how I deal with things today is different than it was 4 years ago. So who I'm going to attract is different than who I would have attracted before. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you either find the person that is willing to grow with you, which is very hard because you can't forecast that. You hope it happens.
Right.
But 9 times out of 10, somebody outgrows the other person, or you're going in a direction. You try to jump off the cliff with, you know, the parasail thing on, and they're like, yeah, I can't do it. I ain't doing it. And I'm like, you get the base, you know.
Well, you know, and I think oftentimes, because I would talk with friends and I would discuss things, and I'm like, there's no way that high school sweethearts can last that long. That are gonna last. Back in the day, they did, because women had different roles. Women had different roles, and men had different roles.
We had defined roles.
You had. This is what your life was supposed to look like, and you follow these roles. And as long as you follow these roles, everything's peachy. But when you start looking at the 60s and the 70s, when women are like, you know what, I'm not just a housewife. I'm not just somebody that's here to cook and clean and take care of the kids. That's when things started happening, when there was different power struggles. And so I just think that a lot has changed. Just like, you know, you're not going to, you know, base certain things or certain decisions on something that was written in the 1940s. You know, like you evolve and you're changing as a society and as people. And so sometimes I think that, especially with heterosexual couples, there's a point where a man might, I'm not going to generalize, but a man might be like, this is the kind of wife I want. I want to be more traditional, blah, blah, blah. And then
like Coming to America, and he was like, this is the wife I got. This is the wife I want. I'm sorry.
And give it up for sexual chocolate. But, you know, and so things are changing. I think a lot of women are like, no, I don't want that old-fashioned life. I don't want that traditional life. And the guys are like, well, this is how we were raised, and this is how, you know, so there's always like this struggle.
Right.
And so, you know, I mean, the good thing is that now you can like be realistic about it and be like, okay, this is what I do want. Then A, B, C, you know, and this is what he wants. Oh, it meshes. Okay, cool. Online dating works. So, I mean,
the whole Well, so the point that the end result is that, yes, turn it the other way.
He wants to torture you.
I see her.
Okay, guys, we are live on YouTube.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. Go to my
And-
Facebook page. This is Ali. Go to my Facebook page and you'll get the YouTube link on there. Yeah, I know it's on that page. So anyway, go check there. So the moral of your story is maybe not. It depends on the
It
person.
depends on, I mean, some things are just not romantic. Hey, I don't like this. I don't like this. I like this. This is a deal breaker. Put it on a list. I know that's not romantic, but maybe your relationship will last longer.
If you're just
If you're
upfront.
like upfront about things.
But the thing is we have to understand that we change along the way.
Well,
So
yeah,
there are
with
people-
room to grow,
let
you
me-
gotta be flexible.
Yeah, let me tell
Sorry.
you, because there are people that, so I've had that make the list, or these are some of the things, and now you hold it against me when I change. Well, you said that, well, okay,
Yeah.
I'm 4 or 5 years into this, why wouldn't I grow? Why wouldn't I change at this point? So when you get with someone that is not expecting change or growth, so for me to answer your question, I would say no, we're not made for only one mate, unless you're talking about complete soulmate kind of thing. And if we believe
Well,
in that whole
and
thing.
if there is one mate, I think you find them later.
When you've settled, when you've gotten to a
When you're
point
like,
where
you know what, I'm not on training wheels anymore.
Yeah.
I've made the mistakes that I've made, and I've done, I'm speaking from my experience. I've made the mistakes I've made. I've grown. I've failed. I've been heartbroken. I've been depressed. I've gone through all this stuff, and then I get on top of that mountain, and there's somebody else waiting for me. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I can do this again.
Yeah, because your outlook is different a lot of times. As we get older, we experience different things, and so what we're looking for is different. What I'm looking for, what a 25-year-old is looking for, is the American dream, or whatever dream you have. When you hit 40, 45, my dream was to be retired 5 years ago. So
Wow.
I got a whole nother dream, and it does not include.
I woke up from that one.
It does not include. Yeah, they didn't tell me I did work really hard. So anyway, it does not include the same things, potentially the same things. Some of it's the same. It's just how I would approach it, and you just have to be in the company of people who look at life the way that we look at it now.
Right.
So.
Did anybody comment? You were
Yes,
gonna say.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm sorry.
saying.
Yeah, because some of these are combo answers, because we have 2 questions, and folks, stay tuned, because part 2 of this is, does our upbringing / I threw in parents impact our relationship? So that's going to be part 2. So part 1, are we meant to have one and only one mate throughout our lifetime, because we believe in marriage once and we die together, we ride together. So this person said some people are meant for one mate, some more than one, and some are meant for no mate at all.
I know quite a few that are like that.
Which one? Not
a mate at all. I mean, and I also have a theory about this. I think if you get to a certain age and you haven't been in a relationship, you're probably not going to have one.
What's that age?
Probably like 28.
Oh, like never been in a relationship.
Like never been in a relationship.
Okay.
And what I've noticed about that, people between 25 and 28, men and women, because I know 2 people, they're more than likely introverted, and they're already by then set in their ways, and they're so used to being alone that it's hard for them to compromise.
But you
And
can have
compromise
that
is a
too
big thing.
in old age, after you've dated 50 people. You can be so
Well, yeah, but that's a different way.
So,
But at least you have shown that you can
20
interact with somebody else.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay, so that was one thing. And then another comment was, okay, so someone said, along with being the one, having one mate, we believe in that the accepted norm which is you're supposed to marry one person till death do you part. You know, we believe that from, you know, our marriage vows and things like that, which is why it's so hard sometimes for people to accept divorce, you know, or we'll stay married forever. And I'm not a believer in that either. I don't think that, you know, especially like if kids are involved. So I'm a big, I have issues with people who stay in relationships that are negative for the kids, just for the sake of saying that we stay together, but you don't realize the impact. Because kids, if you notice, kids sense
I have
everything.
a quote for that.
You have a quote for that?
Yeah. Kids would rather be from a broken home than be in a broken.
Because they know it, they sense it, they can actually
I
sense
remember being a child and being like, whenever my mom would be really upset at my father, I'd be like, just leave.
You would tell him?
Yeah, I would tell her, just leave.
Bounce.
Yeah, I was like, come on, if we're unhappy, let's go.
Yeah.
I want to move to Puerto Rico anyway.
That's so funny. And it's so funny. I remember days like that too, because you would look at, and I think that's part of the reason. So this is going to tie into part 2, but we're going to go to a commercial break before we get into part 2. But this is going to tie into part 2, which talks about how does our upbringing and our parents impact our relationships, because those kinds of things, the broken home thing, you know, that starts to dictate how you interact or the different types of relationships that you want to be in. So y'all stay tuned. We're gonna go to a quick commercial break.
Quick. In just a 30 seconds.
And
And a quick. Anyway, this message is brought to you
by Zoetic Essentials, holistic, plant-based beauty and bath product line by Arlene.
by Ollie. You have to check it out. She has some good stuff and wonderful skin.
Thank you so much.
It puts some lotion on
To
the
put-
skin. Or it gets the hose again.
We'll give you
So
anything.
stay tuned.
We'll be right
We
back.
are
You're listening to
BAM
BAM by AMI Radio.
Normally I try to keep it easy and so most times, like for family shows and then individually everybody show have their own focus. He has their own focus. So usually the more songs you add into the folder, the harder you go to find it.
Yeah.
So normally I just click here and then put it in order by the artist. And so, but it's easy to do it by the artist.
You just click on it and then it leaves it up.
So,
You can either double click it, like, whatever.
So we hit play on the side, it's also work for both of these.
so skip miracles and do all my life. Oh my God.
So you want to actually one plan now.
So it's there, but it won't insert. I took it out because it will.
So you have to manually start the next one.
Eventually, I'm going to do that when we need it. Right now, we don't need it. I'm going to have to program it to do that. That's more for just like a one-person stuff. Like a lot.
Yeah. So about the transgender thing, what if like a male walked into a girl's bathroom that was really like a girl originally, but she went transgender male? You know what I'm saying? So they're transgender male back in there.
But you're forcing them to go.
No, but they walked in, they look like a man, But they were seeing course to go into go back and they were born.
But does he have male content?
Maybe not, but maybe
not.
it's made, that's like
Everything
maybe
else is-
he just put it.
Because there are plenty of transgenders.
I have had
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she would probably look like a lesbian.
So that's why they're.
So we
That's why
had
it's
one,
ridiculous.
we had
That's why
one
they
at
want to go
our
to
job,
men's bathroom.
Right,
Yeah,
that's
they
what
don't
it is.
feel right.
Okay.
and that was one guy did, he actually thought she thought it was a woman. And so he was in the bathroom and here comes like this. He walks in and the guy, he's the older guy. And he was like, he's in the bathroom, and I looked and I was like, what is she doing in here? And right. But he thought Ken didn't have no idea that he was trans. So he thought it was a woman. But he was pre-op, so he went into the men's bathroom because he was like, they're not gonna let me go into the women's bathroom. But Ken was shocked and Ken was like, is she a man? Or is it was like, well, so he was confused, he didn't know. But it was just funny because he found out. It was just funny because he thought it was a woman. So when he was standing in the urine using the bathroom, he looked like, what is this woman coming in there doing? What? He's like, and then he said he stood in front of he said, and then she stood in front of the urine and started using the bathroom.
Okay, so you gotta use better judgment. Stop sitting in the stall.
He was just, but this is
I'd have
something.
been like,
But it's different. I think it'll be different, like in public, because you don't know the person. But he sees her every day, so he always thought it was a woman. So for her to walk in, he was just like, why is this lady walking here?
That's a lie you have to break.
So he wrote
No
that.
one's gonna know.
oh no, not this one. Not this one. No, this, I put a post up and asked people to share their favorite love song. So I told them to play. I picked two, but a little interaction.
Yes.
And so he had the top.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna give a shout out to her. Right.
He had the top part done, but he just had the bottom. So again, a lot of features that you would have thought it was a woman. So he come walking in, and Kim had to be like,
Yeah, and I can imagine when you're just like,
yeah, this lady came in the
so what do y'all think about them having a separate bathroom for transgender?
Oh, why is that?
So that right there is confusing. Just
Why can't we just do that?
but the person who was transgender is the one who didn't go into the female bathroom.
She should have.
So that's what I'm saying. So it should just be a transgender, like with a family bathroom, you got kids, you take the kids to the family bathroom,
Yeah.
change diapers and lay kids out.
Everybody just have a family. Why can't they just go into the family? You know how many times I go into a male's? You know, like, I get to the ones that are just one.
They're cleaners.
No, they're
Cleaner in
cleaner.
there. No, I was like, they're cleaner and nobody's everywhere.
Yeah, no one.
We had like 5,000 people sitting in line. By that time,
I know, I did that at a bar. And I mean, as long as there's only just one.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah. Cause that's, I'm like, I'm going to the man, who cares?
Yeah, I go into the single.
I'm like, I'm going here.
I'm trying to
You only heard what you heard for 35 minutes. I just deleted that thing. I have nothing to say.
You deleted it?
Yeah, I deleted it. I'm like, yeah. I wasn't trying to get on that argument. There's nothing. And you can be disappointed on
Well,
I don't have my mother, you know? So, well, I thought she was kind of self-righteous with her. Like, I'm disciplined and.
Well, just tell her to say, you know, well, we're all adults, we have our opinions. If you like to.
But I think we're agreeing on the thing. That's the thing. It's like, the meme is not saying that all pedophiles look like Jared and all transgender look like
Give
Caitlyn.
a person a hug. What is it that happened? What is it in this that offended you? Well, and that's what I'm saying. There's something that triggered that emotion.
I know.
It really has something to do with you. That's interpersonal. You didn't come out as
No,
her.
no.
And that's why I say now when you step off, the first thing I say is wow.
Yeah. What did I? Yeah. Because I just
Not what did you do?
Yeah.
Why did that impact them? What are they going through?
Yeah.
That they needed to snap. Unless I actually call you out, you can't be mad at me.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Unless I call you out, you can't be mad at me for
Yeah.
something I say generally. Unless I call you
And
out.
I didn't even say it.
Even if you were still talking about me, ask me.
I know.
Well, most likely I wouldn't do. I'd just be like, yeah. Are we coming on after this? Oh, okay. Oh my God, it's a piece of hair. I was gonna say.
Yeah, ready?
You're gonna do your thank God
You ready?
that I
Here we go.
finally found you. All my life. Yes, that you deserve me to. We know that one. All right, you're back
Yeah,
online
no,
with
baseline.
Bam in Mind Radio. That song was selected. That is not a song that Prince wrote, but I posted something earlier this week to have folks share their favorite love songs. To share their favorite love songs. And that one was selected by, I want to give a quick shout out to who picked that one, if I can find it. Do you hate when you post stuff on Facebook and then you like got to roll through like 500 messages? It was
message.
Jamila Henry. This one is one that you selected, and she said she picked it because she thinks it's one of the most beautiful songs that they made. That was All My Life by Casey and JoJo. Casey and JoJo. So, all right, we're back on live. Shout out.
I wanted to make a shout out. I got the privilege of meeting a filmmaker, a real life filmmaker. And I hope I'm not
a real life. Well,
a
he's going to
couple.
be a filmmaker.
And I am too, by the way.
Eyeball.
And his name is Aziel Norton. I think I said it right. It looks like Azel, but I think when he told me it was Aziel or something like that. Sorry if I butchered it, Mr. Norton. But he directed and wrote a film called Orion, which is a post-apocalyptic
Zombie.
No. I think it's just a sci-fi post-apocalyptic story with David Arquette and Lily Cole. But anyway, he was really cool. He's from somewhere in North California, a place that's not even a town, he said. And I wanted to give him a shout out.
And he was like really animated that night.
Yes.
Because they dragged me out. Guys, it was only like 11:30.
And we're like old ladies. We're like, oh my God, we gotta get out.
I'm like so exhausted. It was a Friday night. And anyway, he saw us and he was like, y'all look like somebody literally forced you all to be here. Because we were all kind of just sitting on this
We were
couch.
just relaxing.
Yeah,
I was
we were
feeling
chilling.
great. I was feeling
We were
great.
waiting for somebody to get up and do another Prince karaoke song. And what's the name of that place?
It's called the Angelica Lounge.
The Angelica Lounge. So
But I
Angelica's upstairs, and this is just right downstairs and to the left. And what's the radio station that's inside there?
Oh, I have no idea.
So there was a live
There was
radio
a radio
show in there. So I don't know
station
if they're there all the time. I assume so. But yeah, we were in there, and that was really cool. It's a
That
nice
was
place.
really
It had a-
cool. That was
they
a really
got
good experience.
stage and a pool table. And that was after the DIFF honors award ceremony, which we ate like pigs.
We ate like kings
Let
and
me tell you,
queens.
that food was so.
Oh my God, that dessert was so good. No
Yeah.
wonder we probably had the itis.
That's what it was.
We
And it
were
was
like,
like that, like we don't normally eat. Like I ate every piece of that sirloin or whatever.
Oh, the steak. Yeah, Casey was like, oh my God, I've never eaten like that in such a long time.
Yeah, it was fabulous, but I was hurting like for real. So yeah, but he was really cool. He was a really
He's
nice
really
guy,
tall.
very animated gentleman. But he shared some cool information. So
Yeah,
it's a fun night.
Very
We
fun.
definitely enjoyed DIFF. So anybody listening from the Dallas International Film Festival. We can't wait
We
to see y'all
salute you.
next year. Yeah,
Yeah, so Orion, the movie,
Orion, which is, I still say it's zombie.
starring David Arquette.
It's still a zombie flick. All right, relationship topic number 2, my friends. Does your upbringing / I threw in parents because I was looking at something, I don't know what I was looking at, and it just made me tie this to the previous question. I don't know why, maybe it's just about relationships and love. Does your upbringing or your parents impact your relationships? And I think actually the meme that I saw said, if you had a crappy life, does that mean that you're like bound to have like a crappy relationship or not have a good relationship? But I kind of reworded it because I was like, that sounds crappy. You know, you can only put that in a meme, right? You can't really say that and get people anyway. So, and I thought about that quite a bit because my thought is obviously, yes, your upbringing has to
Influence you.
have some sort of impact, but does it have impact in that you go with the flow of your upbringing, or you hit that point and you go the complete opposite?
I don't know. I guess it depends on your upbringing. I know for me, you know, you always take the good with the bad, you know, like, you know, well, I know that when most people at age around 11 or 12, they start having abstract thinking psychologically, where they have deep thoughts, what I call the deep period, where yeah, exactly.
Like, shut up.
Why are you asking me these difficult questions?
Shut up. I was like, because you want me to suck my thumb. So
I need some. So from thumb to cigarettes. No, anyway, oral fixation.
Is it?
But you know, I remember being like 11 and be like, this sucks. I'm not gonna be like this, and I'm not gonna be like them, and I hate that. And there are some traits that I valued from my parents, and I take those. You know, like my mom will never be bullied. She will always like stand for justice.
Is your mama short?
Yes.
Yeah, it's always because my mom like this tall for real.
Yeah, my mom is short. My mom wanted me to be a model. I'm like, Mom, I'm not that tall.
Yeah, because like, don't they have like that 5'10" requirement?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I'm like, I know I'm taller than you, Mom, but I'm not that tall. But yeah. So I mean, there are certain things that you get from each parent, and there are some things that they probably make you deter from going there. You know.
Mhm.
So I think it depends if you let it.
So if you had, you know how we see some people who were raised in horrific conditions, or, you know, let's say they were homeless or, you know, just things that are traumatic, that we consider traumatic. A lot of people who live in nice houses and stuff don't necessarily have a lot either. We just assume if you got a house, you're doing well. If you got a car, you're doing well. And that really does not mean that. There could be a whole lot of things going on inside the house. But do we assume that if you lived a troubled life, that you have troubled relationships? Like people who have been abducted. Well, I can't even think of the girl's name because it's been like 10 years.
Elizabeth
now.
Smart.
Yeah, and then, you know, and that was like 9 months, right, that she was held in captivity. And then she's married, she has kids, you know, and all of that now, right?
Yeah. So she probably got some extensive therapy.
Counseling and yeah.
Because she was probably doing the whole Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, I bet. But I mean, you know, so do you think that it's easy to overcome?
No, not easy. But you can undo the damage, yeah.
And still have a positive relationship.
I think so. I think a lot of people that are traumatized, they go the opposite way and sometimes become more giving to a fault. And so they need to learn boundaries, right? They need to learn boundaries, and then they can really be well adjusted.
Doing all kinds of stuff. Like what? Stop.
Yeah.
So I'll throw myself into the fire. So I'm a PK, preacher's kid, for y'all don't know the terminology. And our parents were very, very strict. And I mean, when I say strict, I mean like strict.
You couldn't even look at them.
Yeah, like so couldn't go into church for school field trips without a skirt on. And I was the only one. So I was in choir, so I always had to wear a dress, even though everybody else wore pants. I couldn't wear things like shorts above my knees. I couldn't wear makeup. Couldn't shave. Like for real.
Oh, wow.
Like, you know, and a lot of that, and my parents had a verse in the Bible that they would quote and tell you exactly where that came from. And there are a lot of things that I know, and that's just one aspect, you know, of living in my household, because we had so much fun outside of that, because my parents did make a conscious decision to also do a lot of family stuff. So we did a lot of things together. So that's we have family traditions, things that we just don't do unless we're all together. Like we go, if there's a Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, no, I don't care if it's 3 months later, you better not have seen it before we all go see it together some kind of, I mean, it's a rule.
Have you seen Force Awakens yet then?
Yes,
Okay.
and we all did it when everybody got in town here.
Okay, yeah, I saw that.
And we can, and it's so funny because we're like, okay, somebody can go, but you can't, because then you know you're gonna like lie. You can't lie, like you just can't. You can't go and see, unless you know you're not gonna come in town. If we're all gonna be together, it always comes out around Christmas. We all have to go together. When we would go to Great America, we had a rule. We all went together. We got on the rides in a particular order. I mean, there were just things that, you know, we did a lot of, you know, family things. Christmas, my son was, my brother at that time wasn't around with his kids. So my son was the only grandchild or nephew that was around. So when we had Christmas, it was big. You know, it was always at my house. I did the dinner and all of that. And then we'd have game stations because we're really competitive. So everything, we had word searches. I'd make Star Wars word searches. Everything was timed. You know, we did a lot of stuff like that, but we didn't start it until everybody got there. So my son would be really hyped. I'm like, we have to wait for Granny and Granddad to get here, you know, and stuff like that. So we had those kinds of traditions. So I appreciate that. But then the rules,
Yeah.
So I went complete, I don't know if you say left or right with the rules, because my personality in general, I'm not a rule person, but I raised my son with rules.
Yeah.
So, but I raised him exactly.
Well, and there's a difference between arbitrary rules and boundaries. Kids love boundaries. They don't think they do, but they love it. They feel safe and they know, well, mama's not gonna like that. And then when they get older, they realize, okay, I understand
the Lord
why.
for that boundary.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah.
I'd be
Because then you meet other people that don't have those boundaries, and you're like, oh, dang. But like for me, I wasn't raised in any particular religion. My dad was all about freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and so I found myself, I dabbled in many
when you were
denomination. Yeah, because I was curious. I was like, can I go to church with my friend?
So
can I
like
go to
the
church?
life of Pi.
Yeah, exactly. I
That's
love that movie. I
cool.
love it. But then I realized, you know what? I like how we were brought up. I mean, we didn't have any major restrictions other than my mom was strict in the sense that we weren't allowed to spend the night all over the place all the time. You know, I mean, if anything, they would come to my house, you know, and hang out with us. I mean, my mom didn't care who was over as long as her kids were home.
Yep.
And so, and I like that. I like the feeling protected and everything. But when I got into the real world, it was a big shock. Certain things were a big shock of people having boundaries. I had to learn how to have certain boundaries or have certain respect for other people's boundaries, because I was like, why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? What's the matter with you? Oh, it's our religion. You know, I'm like, what? Why? It doesn't make, yeah.
And I was the only girl.
And I'm to this day, as a teacher, I'm still rebellious. Like, I'm still like, oh, that's stupid.
But we got to do it.
Stupid
We got
rule.
to do it. We're gonna petition next time. So I'm going to read a comment from Facebook about whether or not your parents have anything to do with you or your upbringing. And this person said, not necessarily. Growing up, I just thought it was one of the, she's talking about marriage. She's associating it with being with one mate. So she said, she started talking about, she really didn't talk about parents bringing up she went back into, that was a different one. Okay, so I won't read that. But just talking about, you know, the impact of our family on our relationships, I think it's like and we're going to get back to this. So our listeners, we did a documentary a few weeks ago called The Mask That You Live In, The Mask You Live In. And you can find that out. Where is it? Netflix? Netflix. Go out there and check that out on Netflix, because I think maybe we'll talk about it next week and we'll have another topic. It was a really good documentary, and it really focused on males, but it applies to males and females. But it kind of ties back to that in how we associate or how we behave or how we think we're supposed to behave based on what perceptions, the way you were raised, things that you do today are a clear reflection of things that you've been taught.
Right.
Whatever time frame that was, and a lot of times we can kind of tell where we're picking our lessons from. So when you're younger, you're in your 20s and 30s. 20s are early 20s to mid 20s. A lot of times you're still living in that belief system of how you have to live, and we got to do this.
Your parents are still playing the tapes of your parents are still playing in your head.
Well, mine was playing probably really until I was like 40 something. So let me tell you, like
Wow.
and I didn't realize the impact that my mother had on me until my brother made a comment, my oldest brother, and I was just like, dude, let it go, because he would express it, and he would wear his feelings on his sleeve. I don't necessarily share all of that. You gotta be in Flynn kind of thing, like my middle name. You don't know it, you gotta shoot you. You gotta die anyway. So he was saying all this stuff, and I was just like, dude, relax. It's not that serious. And what I realized is something else happened years later, and I realized that I was still behaving a certain way because I wanted my mother's approval as like a 38, 39-year-old. And it was because I felt like I never got it. So there are things that I was still doing in life. So my son, when he would dress up for Halloween, he wanted to be the Tasmanian devil. We're Christian, we're apostolic faith.
So any kind of devil.
So I got him the outfit. I wasn't living with my parents. We do what we want to do. We don't take no pictures. I'm just saying, right?
So you were a little afraid.
I was afraid. So
She was a little afraid.
We didn't have Facebook. So my son knew it as Taz. That was it. So at the school, I said, he is Taz. Why did my son come home? Mom, they said I'm the devil. And I was like, oh my God. So I had to go and explain all this stuff. Because then I was like, see, if we was just stuck with Tweety Bird, because he was Tweety Bird. And then you got to explain Tweety. But, so, but it was.
Why don't we dress up like animals?
Right, but it's something because of the cute. That's Looney Tunes. It's so cute. But it was just
going a different direction. We won't talk about that.
We're not gonna go. But it's just funny because I think about that and I laugh at that stuff now because I'm like, oh my gosh, my mom I just didn't.
She was still there.
I didn't want her to be upset that I dressed him like this cartoon,
which is an animal that exists.
Yeah, it's a true. But I didn't see any of that. I saw the word itself and associated that with my upbringing. So I'm just saying the whole point is how influential those things can be. And at the time, I didn't even realize it. All I wanted to do was make sure I didn't get in trouble. And I was like 30-something.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that because I remember driving down the street the other day and I was thinking to myself, you know what? I think kids always want their parents' approval.
Yeah.
No matter how old
we want somebody's approval.
Because I mean, even telling my dad, oh Dad, I interviewed this person and I interviewed that person. And I know I wanted his reaction to be a certain way, but I knew what his reaction was going to be. And it was like, okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it always bothered me that he wouldn't be as excited.
Yeah.
So I to a certain degree, yeah, I think I'll always need their approval.
Yeah, or we need someone's. A lot of times we are looking, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as you don't obsess about it. But we go through everything we're taught is to get approval. We go to work, we look for approval. We want awards, we want increases. Everything that you're doing, when you drive past a cop, the approval is he don't pull you over. I mean, we're looking for it in every aspect of our lives. It may be more subtle now, but we're still looking for approval. So the moral of the story is, yes, your upbringing and your parents do influence and impact your relationships. I think the biggest part is acknowledging it.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line is, how did you learn how to be a human being? Was through them.
Or whoever raised you.
Yeah, or whoever raised you. Yeah.
So I think part of the resolution is discovery when you find something like, let's say there's something that you don't like or care for, is figuring what that is and then figuring out how to, you can't change who you are, but you can change how you react to things. That's
Yeah.
how I look at it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
absolutely.
anyway, we are almost out of time, but I want to do a really, really quick say it ain't so.
Yes. Love these.
because I had some, okay, so y'all know that there is, oh shucks. Shucky. Hold on.
Did you know?
Did you all know? All right, let me pull up my little list. Oh, this is a kind of a cool say it ain't so. There is a sleeping bag that transforms into a mobile tent.
Yes, I
Did
saw
you
that.
see that? It is
For the homeless.
For the homeless people. I thought this was the coolest thing. I'm gonna post this on my page too. You know, because we're always talking about building small houses and stuff like that, and that's great if the area you live in allows that, because they were building small houses in some community and then they were taking from the homeless people and stuff like that, because once you have a structure, you actually have to pay taxes and stuff like that. So anyway, I thought this was really cool. So it's a sleeping bag. It transforms into a mobile tent, and it's heated. It has the little coil and
Yes.
stuff or whatever.
Yes.
So it's heated in the summer, in the winter time, which is really, really cool. So that was one. Say it ain't so. Hold on.
They also have self-sustaining pods that they're building too, where you can move anywhere.
Oh, really? And just turn it
it's
around
all
with you?
it's all self-sustaining. You have a solar panel and you have a kitchen, and you know
Okay.
it's really small, but you can live anywhere.
That's cool.
I
One
think
other
that's our
say it
future,
ain't so
honestly.
is Cat Williams was arrested for throwing salt shaker at a restaurant manager. I just wanted to share that
Why would he get arrested for that?
because he hurt him. It hurt.
He pressed charges then?
No, he was arrested. Oh,
No,
the
I know.
person.
No, yeah.
Yeah, clearly. That's how he got arrested. Oh, and then this is the last one. It's called Thinx Underwear. And it's THINX. And these underwear, apparently you put these on and you don't have a cycle. I'm gonna have to. It says I switched from you don't have to use you don't have a cycle, but you don't have to use.
Aren't we supposed to have a cycle?
Well, that's a whole other thing. It's called Thinx period underwear. They're normal period underwear. They claim to be able to catch your period while keeping you clean and dry and stain free. Just saying.
So how does it catch? It's all like,
boom,
ready to go.
Yeah. So anyway, I just saw that and I was just like, say it ain't so.
Say it ain't so.
So anyway, yeah, I won't read all the stuff. So anyway, that's our show for the night. I appreciate y'all listening and tuning in.
Yeah,
to us
thanks for
this
listening,
week.
friends.
We love y'all, and we will be back next week. May, whatever May is. May whatever.
May 5th.
May 5th.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. Hey, so maybe we'll have a margarita. Anyway, you've been listening to BAM on Radio with Ali and their crew. Stay tuned. I'm on the radio.